Hello everyone, and thank you for watching another Honda Land video. Today this video will be on the feature called Popcorn Mod in the Honda Tuning Suite software. Popcorn Mod is a feature that allows you to have popping out of the exhaust through deceleration. So let's set up the software, load in a base map, and get started. We're also going to load in a different set of gauges here. Now I've noticed that y'all cannot see anything that floats on the screen, so I'll have to explain what I'm doing whenever that happens. So basically we're going to make a new base map. My car's an Integra. You can tell these two are the same, it doesn't really matter, but I like to choose it. We're running a GSR transmission, and this is one of those moments where you can't see what I'm doing. So right now I'm choosing injectors, transmission. Now we're going to choose the map. We're going to go for a P30 JDM because that's what I have. I have an OBD0 JDM Gen 1 B16A. So now that we've loaded our map in, we'll just go ahead and cover the display because we don't need that. So right here is your decel portion. I'm also going to change it over into M bar. So 127. So the first cell, once popcorn mode passes this line, or sorry, once your load falls below 127, it'll go into the decel portion. You can change this number. You can make it 130 if you'd like, just to get, that didn't work. There you go. So you can change it around and you get it to fall where you'd like. So again, back to popcorn mode. So in HTS, as an extra option, we have popcorn mode, mod, mode. I'll start calling it mod. So in the popcorn mod, you have the ability to add it to your low cam, or sorry, your primary tables and your secondary tables. I myself don't apply it to the secondary tables. What that means is these two right here, you have two sets of maps. One thing to notice that whenever you go over to your secondary maps, this number right here will need to be fixed back to a 127. So primary map, secondary map, low cam, high cam fuel, low cam ignition, high cam ignition. So we're only going to be applying to the primary maps, tables, whatever. Now, to start at the top here, we have fuel cut settings. Typically, when you use popcorn mode, it will not use this area until you choose to do so. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Down here, we're told that popcorn mode is sharing the same parameters for fuel cut on deceleration, ignition tables, and fuel tables. So let's just say we want it to pop all the way down to idle almost. We have a -6 ignition static, and that's mainly what our popcorn mod will be changing. So if we go over to our tables, we're going to go to our low cam ignition table, high cam ignition table, we're going to apply the mod. Here's where you see that 127. That's the first cell. It's going to pop all the way from whatever RPM you're at down to 750. And it's going to put our ignition at a static -6. What that means is it will actually be -6. You won't be putting -6 on the map and then it only subtracting 6 from your base timing. This is going to be your base timing. So as you see, after we applied the mod, it changed our ignition map. All these are in our retard zone. Same with our high cam. If we go over to our secondary map, it shouldn't have it, but it looks like it still did it. So even though I unchecked this box, it still applied it to our secondary map. Now, the reason why I don't apply it to the secondary map, Control Z, that's going to do it all everywhere. Okay, so the reason why I don't apply it to the secondary map is that I use the secondary maps for a non-popcorn mod map, and I'll show you how to do that. So basically, here later in a second. So what you've seen is that when turning on the mod, it has changed our ignition on the ignition tables. It hasn't changed our fuel yet. Our fuel should still look the same, but you will see anything from here down will increase as I click this button. So 12 and 27. We're going to increase fuel by about 5 clicks. 12 and 45. And 12 is probably not going to change because it starts at 750. 750 is in between these two cells, so it's going to start at 825. So given that, we're actually going to go back and decrease 5 clicks. Maybe I did it 6 times. Yep. So now we're back relatively where we were, and our car will do popcorns. So what you'll see here is that we have popcorn mod turned on for the low and high cam. Ignition is set to -6 retard, and what that does is it causes the spark to happen as the exhaust valves are opening, thus you hear the explosion happening. Now, it's only doing this when you're slowing down, so you're not trying to make power during this time, so it's essentially releasing the power as it's trying to make it. So it is a, it's all for show, it's all for fun, sounds, it fire flashes your valves if you don't do it right, all these things can be said. It's bad for your car, degrades your engine, and so on. And all those things are and can be true depending on how you attack this and do this. This is definitely an at your own risk situation. That is why everything is red in this area. So to now go over our fuel cut, what happens is normally whenever you set up a tune, or normally Honda computers have enable fuel cut turned on, and what this means is the injectors will turn off as soon as you let the throttle off, all the way out. TPS hits 0, 5, whatever's set for stock, and it'll fuel cut all the way down until you get to like your idle area. And this is fine, but what happens is whenever you run popcorn mode, your car is not cutting your your injectors, and you are still spitting fuel. It's very similar to a carburetor where the vacuum of the engine can still suck a little bit of gas into the motor. The spark is still happening, so you hear a little bit of popping and stuff. So if you don't want your car to popcorn all the time. Say you want it to only popcorn for half a second or a second or 2.3 seconds, or I'm not sure if that actually calculates out to points, but yeah, about 2 seconds of pops, and then it will fuel cut and just go back to the normal ball instead of popping. So you can choose to do that. We're going to leave it as the mod makes it, where it turns fuel cut off. And so I'm going to show you two things when we're driving. I'm going to show you all the data logging here with this map, the P30 map that's unedited, and then I will load in my tune for the B16 and show you how, and let you hear how I've set it up to where I'm getting it to pop in between shifts. And it's done with a little bit of messing with the fueling, and it's also grabbing both of these cells and making it retard, so it gets in here earlier, right? So as your load comes down, it'll hit the popping sooner. So as you shift, you'll be like going, and then it comes back, and then it goes, and then comes back, and then goes, and you'll see it. So on my map, you will actually see the first two cells with the retarded timing. And on this one, we're just going to leave it as is, the way that the software sets it up. And so, back to what I was saying earlier, if you want to have a non-popping mode, the way that I have it set up is you go over to your secondary maps. We're going to start with our low cam ignition. Usually the first two cells are the same, so you can highlight all these, Control C, highlight all these, and Control V. Then you go over to your high cam and you repeat the same thing. And we have a map, an ignition map that doesn't have popcorns in it. Then our primary map does. Now, whenever you turn the mod on and you choose this option, it should do that, but for some reason whenever you unselect this, it doesn't do that. Whatever, can be worked around, but just to double check everything, we have popcorn mod on our primary map, no popcorn mod on our secondary map. Then the way that you want to enable that is going into your extra settings, disabling your service check connector, and then go into your secondary map, input mode, and choose service check connector. Now you can choose any one of these inputs, short them to ground, and that will essentially turn on your map. It'll be your switch. If you invert it, it'll always be on the secondary, so on. It goes backwards. If you do conditions, it will do it, with these. So what I do is put it like this, and then whenever you put in your service check connector, or you jump the service check connector, it's going to jump over to these tables, and you won't have any popping. So like you can go through your neighborhood, and your car will be quiet, and so on. So primary maps, secondary maps. We're going to save this, and then I'll take you out for a drive.
Alright, so right now we're about to take off with just the base map, popcorn mod on, no extra features. You'll see that it's only in the first cell, and temperature will affect how the car pops. So right here, I'll take off up a hill. So you can hear how, or you can see how the pops happen when the cars lean. We're seeing lean when it's popping. And you can see the cells on the two left sides. Sorry, the two cells on the left side are progressively going up as you slow down. Car seems to be warmed up enough. Alright, so right now you're gonna see my bass tune. So in this tune that I have, you'll see that I have the two first cells retarded, so you will hear popping during the shifts and during revving and even during deceleration or light throttle during deceleration. So pay attention to all those. Here's where you will see me messing with the throttle a little bit. right there, I'm definitely messing with the throttle. And so right here, I'm pulling over to a stop so you can hear the popping in between the shifts. I think I catch it good on this second time. So I'm not revving it up high enough to my current settings. I was realizing that I wasn't falling in the retarded area of the map during my shifts. So here we go again. And so that's the gist of it, guys. Popcorn mod. It's kind of a simple thing, but you want to be careful with it. Hopefully you enjoyed all of this information and the recordings and the style. And thanks again for watching all the videos. This is Hondaland out. We're almost at 100 subscribers. Thank you for everything. Peace.